Welcome to the 2016 Reports Interpretation Reported webinar for NECAP Science presented by Measure Progress. While we hope today's recorded webinar will answer many of your questions related to the 2016 NECAP Science reports, we also provide a NECAP Service Center line for any other questions you may have. Please feel free to contact us at 1-877-632-7774. Please note that the NECAP Service Center is staffed Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Today's webinar has three primary objectives. One, to provide a general overview of the different kinds of NECAP Science reports available to you. Two, to provide a demonstration of the functionality of the online NECAP analysis and reporting system called NARS. And three, to provide a tutorial on the NECAP Science interactive reports. Before we take a look at the many NECAP Science reports available to you, it's important to note that educators from your states play an important part in the development of the NECAP Science assessments. Some of the ways in which local educators are involved in the test development process are shown here. While Measure Progress content and development specialists guide the development process, much of the critical development work, such as reviewing test items for bias and sensitivity, and reviewing the technical soundness of the assessments is done in collaboration with local educators. Measure Progress produces two main reference documents for NECAP Science reports. The first of those two documents is the Guide to Using the 2016 NECAP Science Reports. This guide covers topics such as the history of the NECAP Science assessment, how to access NECAP reports, understanding and using NECAP reports, explanations of the achievement levels, test design and development, and psychometrics. The second of these documents, the NECAP Analysis and Reporting System User Manual, helps users learn to navigate the NECAP Science online reporting site, NARS. Much of what is included in these two documents will also be addressed today and explained in today's webinar. NECAP Science reports can be broken down into two main categories: static, that is non-interactive reports, and interactive reports. The NECAP static reports are the following: the student report, a paper report that is printed and shipped to schools; the results report, a school and district level report that is available via the NECAP analysis and reporting system; the summary report, a high-level district and state report also available via NARS; and the student level data files, which can also be retrieved via NARS. Please note it is important to remember that both the student report and the student-level data files contain student-level data and therefore must be kept confidential. The NECAP interactive reports, which are also available via NARS, are the following: the Item Analysis Report, a report of individual student performance on the publicly released test items; the Released Items Summary Data, a summary of school and district performance on the publicly released items; the Achievement Level Summary, a summary report of school and district performance by achievement level; and the Longitudinal Data, student-level data reported across multiple test administrations. Student data privacy is very important to Measure Progress, and we find it is useful to remind educators about FERPA, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. FERPA dictates that student data must be accessible only by authorized individuals. For details on student data restrictions that fall under FERPA, please visit the U.S. Department of Education's website at the address shown here. The first static report we will review today is the student report. Two copies of the student report are printed by Measure Progress and shipped to schools. The colored copy of the student report is intended for parent or guardian use, while the black and white version of the student report is intended to be a duplicate copy that remains at the student's school. The first major section of the student report, which is highlighted here, is the Science Test Results section. This section shows the individual student's achievement level and scaled test score. There are 4 achievement levels on the NECAP Science assessments: Proficient with Distinction, represented on the report by the word distinction; Proficient, represented by the word proficient; Partially Proficient, represented by the word partial; and substantially below proficient, represented by the word below. The student's scaled score is shown as a black line on the score scale, with the gray bar behind it showing the standard error of measurement. Standard error of measurement is simply the range of scores a student would likely earn if the student were to take the assessment multiple times. This is similar to how a track and field runner who normally runs a 4-minute mile might have slightly slower or faster times on occasion. All assessments have standard error of measure. The next section contains two charts. This student's achievement level compared to other end of grade 4, 8, or 11 students by school, district, and state chart, and this student's performance in science domains chart. These charts, which are highlighted here, provide comparisons between the performance of the individual student and his or her school, district, and state. Now let's take a closer look at these two charts. The chart on the left shows the individual student's achievement level performance in comparison to the achievement levels of the student's school, school district, and state. The chart on the right shows the number of points earned by the individual student, also known as raw scores, in relation to the total points possible in each science content domain. The chart also displays the average raw scores by domain for the student's school, school district, and state. The 4 content domains are as follows: physical science, earth, space science, life science, and scientific inquiry. The next section, which we have again highlighted in red for your reference, is called the description of the inquiry task section. The text in this section explains the concept of the inquiry task in general and describes the specific inquiry task from the most recent NECAP test administration. We would recommend that educators review the released items documents, which we will show later in this webinar, for more information about the most recent testing year's inquiry task. Now that we have introduced and reviewed the individual student report, let's have a look at the school results and district results reports. School-level users should log into NARS and select the school results report from the most recent testing year. You will notice that the front page of the school results report has text describing the background and purpose of the NECAP Science assessments, as well as ways in which NECAP data and reports might be used by schools and districts for improving teaching and learning. You will also find information such as the testing year, grade level, state, and school and district name and code on the front page. The first report in the school results report is the grade level summary. The grade level summary report shows the numbers and percentages of students enrolled and tested in the school, district, and state, as well as the numbers and percentages of students at each achievement level in the school, district, and state. Let's take a closer look at the participation in NECAP chart. You will notice that under the Students Tested heading, there is additional information about the students tested, specifically how many of the total numbers and percentages of participating students were tested with an accommodation. Similarly, under the Students Not Tested in NECAP heading, you will find a list of reasons that students did not participate. For example, a student or students may have participated in an alternate assessment or may have withdrawn from school. Highlighted here is the NECAP results chart from the grade level summary of the school level report. This chart provides a snapshot of achievement level performance across the school, district, and state. In this section, you will see the number of students tested, as well as the numbers of students in each of the 4 achievement levels. As with the participation numbers, the results numbers are presented here for the school, school district, and state. Additionally, within the NECAP results section, you will see the mean, that is, the average, scaled score for the school, district, and state. It is important to point out that the 4 achievement levels, substantially below proficient, partially proficient, proficient, and proficient with distinction, are represented in this particular chart by the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next page of the school results report, called Science Results, shows cumulative N counts, achievement levels, and mean scaled scores over the most recent and previous 2 testing years, as well as the raw scores across the 4 content domains: physical science, earth-space science, life science, and scientific inquiry. As with the other charts in the school results report, the charts on this page show results at the school, district, and state levels. It is also worth noting that the 4 achievement levels are described in detail on this page, and the scaled score ranges that make up each achievement level are also presented on this page. It is important to note that because cumulative totals provide information on multiple cohorts of students exposed to the program of instruction at a specific grade, caution should be used if the program of instruction has changed significantly. In the section highlighted here, you will see the 4 science domains, the total points possible in each of those domains, as well as the percentage of possible points earned by school, school district, and state. Standard error of measure, shown as a horizontal bar, is also part of this particular chart. It is important to note that the total points possible column here includes both common items and equating items. Common items are used in determining student scores, and equating items are used for equating the test from one year to the next. You will also notice that there is a good balance of points across the 4 science domains. On the next page of the results report are the disaggregated science results charts, which show test results by demographic groups. Like many of the other reports, these reports show the N counts of students as well as the percentages of students, and the results are displayed at the school, school district, and state levels. Please note, your State Department or agency of education has decided that disaggregated results will not be reported for subgroups of fewer than 10 students. This explains the blank spots you may see on your reports. Also available to districts is the District Summary Report, a quick reference chart that shows the number of students enrolled and tested, as well as the achievement levels attained by all students in the district and the district mean scale scores. Results in this chart are displayed by grade. The NECAP Science reporting package also includes district and school student level data files. These files, which are downloadable in CSV or Excel format, include the following: all demographic information for each student that was provided to the state, the scaled score, achievement level, and subcategory scores earned by each student, performance on released items and the released inquiry task, student questionnaire responses, and optional reports data. Shown here is a screenshot of a selection of a demo school student-level data file. This demo file is in Microsoft Excel format. So far, we have shown you the NECAP Science static reports, including the data files. Now we will move into the interactive reports available via NARS. The interactive reports allow users to apply a series of filters or sorting preferences online in order to display the student data in more meaningful ways. After we take a look at the individual components of the reports, we will demo the sorting and filtering functionality. The first interactive report we want to talk about today is the item analysis report for released items. Each year, 10 NECAP Science items from tasks 1 and 2 are released to the public. Measure progress, and your State Department or agency of education hope you will use the released items to improve teaching and learning. In addition to the 10 released items from tasks 1 and 2, all 8 of the task 3, that is, the inquiry task items, are released to the public annually. The legend for the item analysis reports is provided so that educators have one place to go for clear and concise definitions of the terms used in the item analysis reports. We will take a closer look now at the key terms and symbols used in the item analysis report, beginning with the highlighted section, the released items section. From top to bottom in this section, you will see the following. Item number, which tells you number of the test question in the release items document. Science domain, which is abbreviated here as PS for physical science, ESS for earth space science, and LS for life science. Assessment target, which tells you the standard being tested by the particular test item. Depth of knowledge code, which indicates the DOK level on web scale. Item type, either multiple choice, MC for multiple choice, or CR for constructive response. Correct NC response, which indicates the letter of the correct answer. And total possible points, 1 for multiple choice items and 4 for constructive response items. This part of the report gives specific information about the released items and student performance on individual items. A plus sign indicates that the particular student answered the item correctly. A letter indicates the incorrect response chosen by a particular student, and the numbers represent the number of points earned by a particular student on a constructive response test item. Now we'll look at the key terms and symbols used in the total test results section of the item analysis report. This part of the report represents all of the items, not just the publicly released items used to compute student scores. Points are displayed by domain. Each student's scaled score and achievement level are also displayed in this report. For all of the released items, as well as answer keys and other supporting information, please locate and read the two documents shown here, the released items document and the released items support materials document. As you can see here, these materials are organized by tested grade. For additional details and information about NECAP Science reports, please consult these additional references. The Guide to Using the 2016 NECAP Science Reports and the NECAP Analysis and Reporting System User Manual, which were introduced in slide 5 of this presentation. The PowerPoint presentation for this webinar, the assessment targets and constructs, the accommodations guide, the released items documents, and finally, the preparing students for NECAP document. We will now take you to NARS, the NECAP Analysis and Reporting System, and show you how to navigate the site. Step 1 is to type http://iservices.measuredprogress.org into your browser and hit enter. You'll see the following homepage. From the drop-down menu, select New England Common Assessment Program and hit enter. You will then see this website. Click on the NECAP reporting link to navigate to NARS. Once you have clicked on NECAP reporting, you will be taken to the following screen. You will then select your particular state. For the purposes of this webinar, I will use Rhode Island. Once you reach the home page of the NECAP Analysis and Reporting System, you will see several options at the top. You'll see the Reports tab, which takes you to a number of the reports available to you. You'll see the Interactive tab, which takes you to the interactive NECAP Science reports. You'll see the Supporting Documents tab, which takes you to the Release Items documents and the guides and report shelves. And you'll see Account Management, which allows you to create new users and to manage other user accounts. We'll start at Reports. What you'll want to do is click and select the most recent testing year, 2015, 2016. Then select the grade you'd like to look at. You'll then see the options of the school results report, the student level data file, and the student level data file layout. You can then click download to retrieve all of these files. Save them on your computer as you wish. Under interactive reports, you can first click on the item analysis report. Again, select the appropriate grade level. Select either released items or released inquiry task items. And then you'll see all of your students and their performance on the released items. You can then sort this by any number of criteria: first name, last name, state student ID, science domain. You can sort the questions. You can sort by whether or not the student answered the question incorrectly. You can sort the assessment targets right to left. You can sort by depth of knowledge code, again, right to left or left to right. You can sort by item type, multiple choice versus constructive response. You can sort by the correct response as well as the points possible. Once you've found an arrangement that you are happy with, let's do last name for the purposes of the demo here. Simply create a report name, last name report, and then hit export in PDF format. And you now have a PDF of your interactive report, your interactive item analysis report. You can do the same for the released inquiry task. Sort by any number of criteria, such as the scale score, such as the achievement level. Create a name for the report. And hit export in PDF format. The next tab under the interactive tab is the achievement level summary. This gives you a summary of the achievement levels of all of your students. Again, we're working at the school level for this demonstration. You can do the same thing here. Name this something like achievement and export it to PDF. Again, like we did with the other reports, or export as a chart. Over here you'll see the count and the percentage of students at each of the 4 achievement levels. The next area under interactive reports is the released items summary data. You can again manipulate these data here by assessment target, domain, answer choices, correct response, and so forth. Again, find a results report that you like and name it. Release item summary in this case as an example. Export to PDF again. You can also export the legend. And again, you can select any of the appropriate grades available to you based on which grade levels you have administered the test. And then finally, you have longitudinal data under the interactive tab. Select the student's grade level, select a student, and you'll see that student's testing history here, again, you can export the selected student, or in this case, you can also export all students for this particular report. Under supporting documents, you have the guides and report shells. So if you click on this, Guide to Using the 2016 NECAP Science Reports, this is the interpretive guide we discussed earlier in the webinar. So you have access to that. You also have access to the shells for the reports that you can look at in both English and Spanish. So these are the shells of the individual student reports. And also under supporting documents, you have the released items documents. These will, for example, show you the inquiry task release items. You'll have the support materials, which give you the answer keys and all of the explanations of the constructed response questions. You have the answer booklets and the test booklets for the released items for both the inquiry and task 1 and task 2 at each of the available grade levels. And finally, under account management, two basic options: create new user and manage user accounts. Quickly create a user so that you can see what it's like. Come to the name, demo 001, first name, demo, last name, student, password, and then confirm that password. And then finally select the appropriate grades and content areas. So we're going to select grade 8 science, grade 4 science, and grade 11 science. So this user was created successfully, which means I just gave access to that user to grade 4, 8, and 11 science reports. I will now log out, log in as the user I just created so that you can see what that view looks like. This user has access to the Reports tab. Again, choose 1516, choose grade level 4, and this user can access the grade 4 school reports, results reports for science. They can also access the interactive reports if you've given them access to the students in those reports. And they can access the guides and the release items documents. I'll log back out and go to my original demo school. Going back under account management and user accounts, I'm going to grab the demo account I just created and then hit edit student assignments and select grade 4 and then select all of the students and hit submit. I've now just given this user access to all of the students in this particular roster. And of course you can pick individual students or groups of students to add to this user's access. So now if I go back in as the demo account I just created, you will see that this account now has access to grade 4 science students. So this user can now access the interactive reports for grade 4 science, which is the grade level I gave them access to. So that concludes our demonstration of the NECAP analysis and reporting system. Again, if you have any questions about navigating the system or about the individual reports and data files, please review the guides, particularly the guide to using the 2016 NECAP Science reports, as well as the user guide for the NECAP analysis and reporting system, which is found on the homepage here. Thank you again for participating in this 2016 NECAP Science Reports Interpretation webinar.